Hi, everybody. Dr. Laura Donna here with LifeMod Solutions. Today, we are going to talk about what foods cause a rise in your blood sugar and which ones should you be focusing on. Okay, so first thing I want to point out is that your blood sugar is not influenced by calories. Okay, it's influenced more by the macronutrients contained within a food. Okay, so we're going to talk about foods today, but I also want to make out a point that there are many things that can impact your blood sugar and cause it to rise. But by far, the greatest impact is food. It is what you're putting in your mouth. So there's a scale out there called the glycemic index. And what this does, it's a system for evaluating foods that impact your blood sugar. And so they give these foods a rating on a number scale of 1 to 100. Foods that are closer to 100 are going to spike your sugar way more than foods that are rated a 1. So just as an example, white bread is 100. Whole wheat bread is 59. So foods like avocados, which is really high in protein and fiber and fat, I'm sorry, not high in protein, fiber and fat, that has a glycemic index of 15. Now, as a rule of thumb, you can look up this chart online, glycemic index of foods. And we want to stay below 45. And so that's going to really be the foods that are going to be beneficial for maintaining normal, stable blood sugar levels. So let's talk about the nutrients in foods and which foods can cause a rise in our blood sugar. So there's 3 types of macronutrients. These are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Okay, so carbohydrates, now there are 2 kinds. There's simple and there's complex. So we have a simple carbohydrate, which is the foods that'll spike your blood sugar extremely quickly and possibly even raise your blood sugar levels more than your body can effectively handle. Any extra sugar in that moment in time is going to get stored in your liver and in your muscles and as fat. So these are the foods that are going to make you gain weight very quickly. The other is complex carbohydrates. These things contain fiber, okay? Fiber causes, the foods in this category, complex, cause less of a spike. They still will raise your blood pressure, but it's going to be not as high. It's going to be slower at doing that. And it's going to allow your body time to properly assimilate the sugar from your food to be used for energy. Okay, so this leaves less for storage in your liver, your muscles, and less storage for fat. So how do you tell if a food is a simple or a complex? Well, here's one question you can ask yourself. Was it made by nature or was it made by man? Anything made by nature is a complex carbohydrate. It is a whole food. It is untouched, okay? It is how nature intended it, okay? It has more fiber, and like I said, it's going to slow down the digestion of food. If it's made by man, it's most likely a simple carbohydrate. So these are your cookies, your cakes, your pastries, your breads, your candies, all of those things that are made from a flour product and contain sugars. So these simple sugars are what are going to lead you to the path of obesity, metabolic dysfunction, poor immune health, estrogen dominance. It's really going to disrupt your health in the long term. These foods are really easy to spot. They have a long shelf life. They usually come in packages, boxes, and plastic wraps or containers. And they're usually found in the center aisles of the grocery stores. And they contain a lot of sugar and a lot of preservatives. Okay. So the question again, is it made by man or is it made by nature? You want to choose the ones made by nature. Okay. So carbohydrates by far are the number 1 riser in blood sugar. The second thing that can raise your blood sugar is protein. So yes, too much protein can do this. Now, there are benefits to protein, so you should absolutely eat protein. Protein will raise your blood sugar not as quickly as a carbohydrate, but protein is broken down into sugar by the body. So that's why it can raise your blood sugar levels. So you should be eating protein because there are some upsides, okay? Eating protein will slow down the absorption of carbohydrates. So it's really good to eat those together and with a fat too, while we're on this topic. So protein will also ward off hunger. So it's going to tell your body that you're full. So you must eat protein. It's very important for our health. So don't avoid it. What you should be avoiding is simple carbs. Now, the final macronutrient is fat. Okay. Fat is the all-star. Do not be afraid of it. This is what you should be eating. This should make up a majority of your diet. Fats will stabilize your blood sugar. It wards off hunger. It helps keep your blood levels much more stable. So it is your friend, not your enemy. So just to review, simple carbohydrates should be avoided. Okay. So when we look at this chart of, I think this is not sharing correctly. Hang on. When we look at this chart of blood sugar, you'll see these are the macros and blood sugar chart. So carbohydrates are going to raise your blood sugar the most, protein next, and fat is the last. Okay. So remember to ask yourself this question. The foods that you're following in the sugar detox program are foods that are naturally complex and they're low in carbohydrates by nature. Okay. So this is going to help keep your blood levels stable and smooth. So testing your blood sugar is important. If there's one thing that you want to know about where your health is headed, it is to test your blood sugar. Last week, I reviewed how to test your blood sugar using the real-time monitor. You can also get something called a continuous blood glucose monitor. It's abbreviated CGM, continuous glucose monitor. They're the things that people are sticking on the back of their arm. You use your cell phone, and at any given time, it's going to track your blood sugar nicely on a graph. And so the foods that you respond to are going to be different than the foods that I respond to. So I highly recommend that if you're curious about your metabolic health, if you have obesity, if you're at risk for heart disease or diabetes in your family, cancer, if cancer is a concern for you, monitoring your blood sugar is the best way to tell where you're headed. So I highly recommend it. And even if you do a CGM for about 2 to 3 months, they can be expensive. This information is so powerful that every penny spent on it is going to be absolutely worth it. So let me know what you have, any questions, and I will see you on the next video. If you like the content that you heard in this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and share with somebody who you think can benefit from this information. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, I do offer virtual and in-person coaching in my office here in Newtown, Pennsylvania, or I also do holistic health group coaching in a private Facebook group. So please check out my website, lifmodsolutions.com, to learn more and to download some freebies like my belly bloating fixer elixir. So check it out. Thanks for tuning in.